right. All right. It's going to be time, Guy, and I am excited. We're admitting everybody right now. Good day, everybody, and happy Friday. Thanks for joining us for Friday with the Founders. We are live on Zoom, and we are streaming live on our YouTube channel. I know we're going to have more people coming in as this thing goes on. Jay, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Look, if you're joining us now, if you've connected to the audio, there's a chat menu on the Zoom. Go on ahead and tell us where you're joining from, how everything is going, how your first week of 2022 is going. Mike, good to see you. Thanks for joining as always. Look forward to having everybody contribute. And if you've made some of our earlier calls this week, you know we've made a lot of progress and we're doing a lot of cool and new things. So I encourage you, if you missed some of those, watch the replay or come back and start participating in those as well. For this call, this is our first Friday of the Founders of 2022. The goal of Friday with the Founders is giving you guys an ability to, one, connect with us over here at the corporate team of Elify. And number two, we want to have an open forum with you guys. You're part of a bigger community, the Elify community, right? This is all about elevating our business, simplifying our life. And we are part of a greater community that want to help each other. It's this abundance mentality where if we work together to solve each other's problems and we pour into each other, we can achieve what we're working on. Specifically, it's maximizing the Elify affiliate program. As you saw in the broadcast, we've got a topic we want to talk to you guys about for the first portion, and we want this to be very conversational. This is why these are live and you're in here. And we're going to be talking about habits. I know last week and the week before, we were doing all this stuff to prepare for 2022. The reality is it started, right? We're 1/52nd of the way through the current year. It's weird to think about it that way. So we just want to be thinking about it 1 week at a time, right? We talk about winning the week, Guy, and that starts out by winning the day and have a daily method of operation and knowing what habits we need to have and what systems that we are running. So if you've been doing that, you know, where are you at? What's the status check 1 week in? You know, have you started to adopt some of those habits? And if you joined me on Monday when we were talking about sprint planning and kicking off the year, I have a confession to make, right? I made a confession. It was, I'm a perfectionist. And my typical trap, Guy, is I start running my habits, running my system, and I start trying to do it perfectly, right? Got everything checked off my list today. Everything was perfectly done. Get ready to go into tomorrow. And then guess what? Chaos happens. Typically, something outside of my control throws me off. I don't hit that perfect day. And then I throw my hands in the air and I say, I give up. And I'm going to wait till next year to restart again, or next month on the 1st to restart again, or hopefully next week on Monday to restart again. And the reality is, I want to restart every single day. It's a gift, right? We call it the present. Let's restart every day from scratch. So that way, worst case scenario, we can fire ourselves every day from our business as long as we are willing to rehire ourselves the next day, guys. So we don't have to be perfect. So to start off the year, instead of going into perfection, I did the exact opposite. My habits, I set them aside for the second day of the year. And the first day of the year, I did all the things I wasn't supposed to do. I ate all the pizza. I did all the not working out. I did all those things to know on day one, I'm not going to be perfect this year. And so that's sort of my message and lesson from this week as we talk about habits is you don't have to be perfect. It's going to be about progress, not perfection. I'm going to say that over and over and over again. Shelly, good to see you. Anna, pleasure to have you on. The benefit of that and taking that approach is, again, yesterday is over. I can't change what we did on Thursday. It's done, right? I don't want to even dwell on it. I'm going to do what I can control, which is today and the choices that I make. And that's what I encourage each and every one of you to do. And I'm not going to stress about tomorrow because it hasn't arrived yet. And what I'm doing today can impact my future. And all of that starts with habits. So, Guy, sort of in opening this up, I'm going to throw it over to you because I know last year I started out with the book Born to Win. We're not going to talk about the book yet, but you started out with the book as well. I've gone through, I've read it 2 or 3 times already this week. And I think we'll talk about it maybe on Monday, but I want to talk about some of the meat that came out of that book and why it's relevant to stuff that we've been doing for years. And it just sort of, reconfirms that the path is real, the system is real, and it'll all work if you're willing to work it.
Exactly. And first off, Happy New Year. Great to see so many faces. Brittany, it's been a while. Good to see you on. Happy New Year. We had our first snow actually where I live a few days ago. Actually, the New Year's Eve, we got dumped on about 8 inches. So it's a little brisk here, a little cold. But when we talking about habits, the book that ER was mentioning that I went through and have gone through a few times and would encourage people to take a look at it. It's by James Clear, and it's called Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits is a great book just to basically confirm that habits are very important in what we do every day, and to know that things aren't going to have 99% of the time, there is not going to be one major event that will happen that changes your life to a lot of people, right? To know that habits are things that build up over time. And it doesn't matter if it's a good habit or a bad habit. It's the trajectory is the most important thing that we need to look at from a habit building, habit taking aspect. You talked about getting in your habits or going into the new year, and you may have broken a New Year's resolution by not working out or eating something bad. And instead of waiting until next year to restart, you reset and you do it the next day. Life happens, right? We all experience it, and just being able to make sure that we can course correct, redirect, make sure our trajectory goes in the right direction. And it's a mass of small habits, tiny habits that at first you aren't going to see the change, but over time they will build. Habits are what was within the book. It's the compounding interest. Habits are your compounding interest to success, as compound interest is to your money and becoming wealthy, not rich, wealthy, having wealth. The same thing happens with your business. You're not going to see a massive change. Your weight, I'm not going to see a massive change by going and running 100 miles right now and think that I'm going to see change. I'm probably not going to get past the first mile. It's a big thing. And a lot of you might know from my previous history of athletics, the day that I was done was the day I said I was done running. So I don't do that anymore. So you're not going to catch me doing that. I can still do it if we're in a race and there's a bear behind us, though. So don't worry about that. But from the aspect of habits, making sure that we are always course correcting every day. I get an opportunity to adjust a habit. What so many people fall into, and it's within this book, and I know you started drawing the graph, is people look at success and they're going to go from point A to point B, and they think it's going to be a perfect trajectory. It's going to be linear, straight line, right? They don't look at the up and down aspects of it, but knowing that we actually start at that very bottom crossbar and we start working across, and by a habit aspect, I'm doing 1% increase over time, over the days, over the years. You know, your habits will determine what you are and who you are to what you could be. So when I start going along and I get 10, 20, 30 days, 2, 3, 4 months, and I'm not seeing change, so many people fall in that gap that just colored in. And within the book, you learn that's called the Valley of Despair. And that's where everyone quits. Everyone will quit because they do not see enough change happening. It's not happening in the linear aspect. If I didn't eat healthy today and I'm not extremely healthy tomorrow, then I'm just going to go back to eating donuts and bonbons. You know, it's something to the aspect of, I didn't work out today, I'm not going to be healthy. I didn't make that call, I'm not going to be successful. And we just fall into that valley of despair, knowing that the growth that happens is parabolic. And when you hit that cross line of what was that linear process, you're going to go far above, beyond. That's where you get that compounding to start happening. But it's all based on your habits. Is it going to be a habit that I can carry through for days, for weeks, for months? Knowing that what I said just a little bit ago, years is where we're going towards, that if I just make 1% increase, it is, we talked about on Monday, if you do a 1% increase or improve by 1% a day for a year, you will become 37% more successful. But if you do a 1% decrease, you almost drop to absolute zero. Like there is nothing happening. You will not go anywhere. So it's just a mass collection of what your 1% habits are. And are they positive? Are they negative? Are they working, helping you go towards success? Or are they something that
takes you back?
We can course correct.
Yep. And Guy, I do want to offer one quick correction there. And this is the reality of this, guys. Guy said you're 36% better. You're 36 times better. That's actually 365% better, right?
Exactly.
365 days in the year, 1% every day. If you sum that up over the course of this year in 2022, you're going to be 36x, 360% further along, or 3.6x along of where you're going to. And Guy, I know one of the things that I got out of this, and there's so much gold in these books, guys. And when we talk about pouring into ourselves, will, skill, refill, we're talking about pouring into ourselves the skill set, the knowledge, and the tools that we need to get to where we are going. We talked early on with some of our sprint planning stuff about having that plan and making that plan and then preparing to execute that plan. And only when you've done those two things can you expect to win. What we're talking about here is once we've started down that path, and we've been talking about getting started this week. It's like one of those things that at the beginning of the year, it's the best time to get started. Everybody's motivated to get started. But this is what causes that burnout. Here we are on the 5th. And if you look up the statistics online, and any of us can do some Googling, it's a, hey Siri type of search. How many people stop their goal, quit their habit, drop their resolution by the end of January? And guys, it is a majority. We talked about the 80-20 rule, Pareto's principle. 80% of people who have set a resolution this year, they're going to be done by about the 15th to the 21st. This is why I'm avoiding going physically to my gym, because it's crowded. And I already know by the end of the month, it's going to be 10% of the people that is in there right now. And that's just the nature of statistics. How do we avoid falling into the trap? And Kathy, you and I were chatting yesterday, and I was giving this example from the Born to Win book about Dave Ramsey. And if you don't know who Dave Ramsey, it's worth looking into. Great guy with some great principles to help you with your financial success. If you don't have a lot of financial literacy, he gives you some baby steps. But one of the things he says is be weird, right? If a majority of people are doing something and getting a certain result, and you want to avoid getting that result, you don't do what they're doing. You are weird. But if we start going down that path, if we made the decision to have a plan, we've prepared to execute that plan, and we get started moving forward, we want to avoid the traps and the pitfalls that are going to knock us off of our game, and we're going to lose, or that day. And it's okay to lose some, right? We don't have to be perfect. We have to make progress, but we want to win more than we lose so that the net gain is positive. And that, Guy, is what they talk about in that book when we talk about like analyzing and scoring your habits. And we'll get into some of those topics, but I want to focus for a second on the valley of despair, because that's the trap. This is the gap, right? Everybody, including us right now, has a fatal flaw: instant gratification. Okay. We want it now. We want it yesterday. Guy, if I wanted to lose a lot of weight, and I've done it, I've lost over 140 pounds. Anybody who wants to see the before and after, I can show you what I looked like at 340 pounds and what I look like at 200 pounds, and it's a big difference. And I'll tell you what, it didn't happen overnight. It happened one day at a time, maybe 1 pound at a time, maybe 1 ounce at a time. And Guy, to your point, I could go out and try and hit that goal. The goal is weight loss, or the goal is anything that you're pointing to that makes up your wheel of life of taking you to a 10 and being all that you can be. Whatever that goal is, Guy, when you and I were talking about it, that's your direction, right? That's your northern star. That's where you're going, but it's not the end result. Right. And what we do is we point our compass in that direction. And then as we're walking, we're taking each step. The steps are the habits, the system. And I know as long as I put one foot in front of the other, I will eventually not only hit that goal, but here's the fatal flaw of goals. Okay, guys, I told you I lost a lot of weight. I got a confession. As soon as I hit my goal of losing all of that weight and checked it off the list and didn't have anywhere else to go on that goal, I didn't even maintain it. I started going right back up and I gained 60 pounds. 1 pound at a time, 1 ounce at a time, 1 day at a time. It didn't happen overnight. It happened in the remainder of 2021, guys. That was just last year. I've got a new goal or northern star that I'm going down. And I'm going to do the same system and process that we talk about, that we know works for achieving anything you want to achieve, as long as you're willing to work it and follow it. And I'm going to go and I'm going to put together a process or a system. And as I'm achieving progress towards my goal, and to Guy, your point, we're spot checking, maybe we don't feel like we're on the path up, starting to make forward progress in an upward direction towards that goal. I'm going to reset. And eventually, before I get to the crossing point where I'm sort of hitting my goal, I'm going to start to push that goal out a little bit further. This is what Michael Ray says when he says, go as far as we can see. And when we get there, we'll see a little bit further. You'll realize that the goals that you initially set, when you start hitting them, and Guy, I can't tell you the number of goals I've set and I've hit. And then it's like, if I didn't set anything beyond or move it, I sort of either stagnated or fell back. We keep it pushing, and they actually become, you're going to surpass your goals and do so much more. You'll actually realize that the goals you had before are the limiting beliefs. It's like pushing up that ceiling and then realizing, like, wait a second, I just broke through it again. And there's another ceiling, but I can break through that, and so on and so forth. We all too often get into that trap. Lastly, before we open this up for any Q&A or please contributions, thoughts, insight from the rest of the community, we want to talk about the fatal flaw that we all have as humans of linear thinking. We think progress is linear. This is the same thing with the affiliate program. Progress is parabolic, okay? We don't feel like we're making much progress in this first course of what we're doing, but we actually are. And so this is that trap, but we still have to spot check. The progress isn't have you met your goal, it's have you adopted the habits that are part of the system that are leading you to your goal. And when you can say, yes, I won today because all of the habits I wanted to implement today, like I woke up at 5 today, and that's, I don't know, I've been doing that since December 1st, okay? I haven't been doing it for years, but I won the day because, check, I woke up at 5. I did my workout, check, you know what I mean? I'm looking at this week now, spot checking, hey, here I am a week into 2022. I didn't win every day this week. Guy, you know it, personally, hands-on. You had a plan, and then, illness or colds or kids throw something in the mix that's outside of your control, and you don't achieve your plan for that day. So you get an L for the day. You know what I mean? But most teams, they don't look at that one win or loss. They look at the culmination or accumulation of all of those things. And that's really what we're talking about. It's the accumulation of all of those habits. There's a ton of other awesome meat and gold within this book. And there's going to be a ton of meat and gold in all of the other books that we talk about. And the goal of all of this is you want to eat the meat, you want to spit out the bones, and you want to apply the knowledge and information that you're picking up and absorbing. Whether you get it on these calls, whether you pour into yourself from some of these books, whether you're joining us on the Mindset of a Champion call on Wednesdays, or the Tech Tuesdays at 2 that we just started this week. If you missed that one, man, there was so much gold in there, Kathy, and so much good contribution from the community. And this is only the first week of the year. What happens when we compound this next week? 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and January is over, 5 weeks. I don't even start to look that far forward. I'm in the mix of it, and I'm just doing it and running it. And we just want you guys and to encourage you to do the same thing independent of what you're working on. Specifically for this guy, I know it is if I'm walking through the wheel of life, The career and financial spokes is what we want to be working on collectively as a community here with the Elify affiliate program. So we'll get into that, but let's
to add to this just
Yeah.
for a second, from the aspect of your goals and the habits that you do to reach those goals, and making sure that, so I set that Northern Star out there, and for some reason you're all probably hearing the same thing. ER and I just naturally go back to the health and working out or something of that sort.
Yeah.
But we can put anything out there from setting a goal. So from a business and being an affiliate of, I have a goal of having 1,000 affiliates. Well, what's that look like when I get to 1,000? And how ER lost 140 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
When he lost 140 pounds, it's sort of like I met that goal and he relaxed. From an affiliate aspect, I get my 1,000 affiliates and I sort of relax. And we've seen it happen in our own network where I get some big fish, and I get someone who knows some people, and we get them in, and it's, oh, great, let them do the work instead of continuing to put that work in. That valley of despair are the habits that, if we're going to put another example into it, is the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
It's if you continue to do the same things over and over again and expect a different result, you're insane.
Yep.
So you need to take that 1%, those habits, and stick with them to go towards a true goal of not losing 140 pounds, of being healthy, of being fit, and keeping that, of not having 1,000 affiliates, of having a powerful network that you're a leader of, that you're the trainer of, you're the ones that they go to. They don't look for Kathy for training. They look for you for training. Even though Kathy's going to be there, I guarantee it. And she's probably going to do a lot more than she should, because she's not going to get paid for it from you. But I think there's so many things that when we look at our habits and we look at our goal setting, that people just fall into that valley of despair, and they can't take the goggles off that are instant gratification. And it's something that we really want to work on. We want to push through here this week, next week, this month, within our community. And we always encourage people to, if anything, if people just want to have a positive conversation of growth, invite them just to come to this community and talk. They don't even really need to be a user of Shuffle or an affiliate. We'll talk any topic. That's why we go through books and and I conversate over like what's good topics and ideas. Maybe some of the Thursday stuff that ER is doing right now are elements that we take out of books that can hopefully jog some interest or jog some potential habits that people can 1% increase in their day, instead of, I'm going to make this massive change. From a health aspect, if I wanted to be healthy and I took the day and I reversed engineered it, I guarantee I'm not going to do that day. At least not 2 or 3 days in a row. I'll do the one day, but when I get into that next day, it's going to be, wow, there's a lot that I have to do. So you're waking up at 5. You've been doing that since December 1st. That's a great thing.
If I continue to do it
at 5, wake up.
I've got
a
choice every day, right? Continue to do it or stop. If I
then
stop,
implement the next thing into it, right? Then wake up at 5, eat a healthy breakfast. Wake up at 5, eat a healthy breakfast. Wake up at 5, eat a healthy breakfast. Meditate, something of that sort, and then start implementing those over time from the health aspect. Same thing from being an affiliate, being a user of Shuffle. Kathy, I know you use Shuffle basically every day, and she's got a process. She's got a system in place. To be honest, I don't use it every day, but I use our test environment every day because there's so many cool things that we're looking at. But when I wake up, my process is sort of just, I wake up before my alarm goes off and I grab my phone, which is something that I'm going to change because I'm not going to grab my phone starting tomorrow. I'll do that. I'll promise you. And Monday, I guarantee I'll be 3 days in that I won't grab my phone first thing. But I grabbed my phone and I would look to see what's the new build that I can look at.
Yep. And
I start getting into work before I'm ever out of bed, instead of getting into the right frame of mind work to go into a healthy work day. And my healthy work day starts with being healthy from the aspect of physically, mentally healthy. So that's a change that I put on my January 1st goal resolution I'm going to do, and I broke it 7 days in. Here I am. I broke it actually day 3. So I'll go the next 3 days and I'll improve. And I will be one person. When you find out how people are, you find out that a lot of people will say more than they will do. If I'm telling you I'll be at least 3 days, I'll guarantee I'll be 3 days that my phone will not be picked up. But I'm going to work moving 1% forward every morning, that I will do something healthy spiritually and mentally before I ever touch my phone.
Well, look, guys, I just posted in there. If you have any questions or thoughts that you want to contribute to this conversation, raise your hand. We want to hear from you. Again, we want this information to help everybody. And Guy, to your point, I think the key here is, if you adopt a habit, whether you do it every day or not, if you do it more often than you don't, you're going to make forward progress. And if it's something new you weren't doing before, like, guys, I was waking up without an alarm clock, right? When my body said, wake up, I had that time luxury to say, if I feel like sleeping in today, I'm sleeping in, and then I realized how much time I was losing. And we'll talk about time on a different call here, because I've got a lot to add about that topic. But I realized I was losing time, and I wasn't getting everything done I needed to do. So the one change I made was set the alarm clock. And I'll tell you, day one, it stunk. You know what I mean? It stunk. I'm like, I don't want to get up at 5. I saw somebody poked into Mel Brooks. Guy and I were at an event with Mel Brooks speaking right when she came out with that 1, 2, 3, go type of stuff. Man, what a game changer of a tool, right? If you want to adopt a new habit, be the person you want to be, or think about what you would do if it was Groundhog Day and you're getting to do today over again, even though you haven't done it yet. Ask yourself that one question and then say 1, 2, 3, go, and do the right answer. If you just sort of approach each minute of the day in that fashion, it can make an impact on adopting the habits. And then once you get through the day, check it off, reset, start again. Anna, go ahead. Thank you so much for joining and contributing.
And I'm so pleased that you would put me in the realm of Mel Brooks, but it was actually Mel Robbins.
Oh, Mel Robbins. Sorry. Mel Robbins.
Different Mel.
That's right. Mel Brooks is funny as heck too. So there's probably some good stuff in there as well.
She's pretty amazing. I'm not affectionate about the language, but definitely you have 5 seconds to change that decision.
Yeah.
And once you start that process, moving the phone out of the bedroom, huge. I did want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Or just make some input. Yesterday was the first I heard from anyone from Elify that the announcements area was where I could learn what you guys are doing. I did not know what that was for. So we might want to include that in startup training.
Well, maybe we'll go through on Tuesday with Kathy, and we'll do an overview of navigation of the system, and on the mobile side and on the desktop side, because there's a lot of, again, functions that I think a lot of people don't use, Anna, to your point, because they just don't know where they're at, or they're nested in there. They've never played around and stumbled upon them. Guys, there's a lot of meat in Shuffle. There's a lot of features in Shuffle. If you just have a digital business card, to Anna's point, you're missing out. You're missing out on an entire community of other users who are pouring into each other. You're missing out on these announcements that are going on that are going to help you in all areas of your life. So thank you so much, Anna, for bringing that up. And Kathy, I think that would be a great thing. We're still in this getting started mode. And again, even if you're watching this in July, you can get started now. You know what I mean? But you got to get started. So that's step one. Anything else you want to add, Anna?
Yes, I was at a bank in Nebraska and was trying to use my tap card with my loan officer there, and her NFC was on, but the card would not work.
Okay.
I'm wondering if banks and financial institutions have some sort of a block on NFC. Is that something we need to be aware of?
Always potentially, I'm looking at the path of least resistance when I hear about an error and what might have caused the error. I know, Kathy, you and I, not NFC related, but we did some bug testing to replicate an error that somebody brought up on Tuesday that we ended up solving for. And it could be a number of factors. Obviously, you've, through your laws of deductional reasoning, decided, oh, they've got NFC on, so we know that that is not the issue. The next issue is something that I actually experienced with Danon while we were at the event in October. And my first question would be, did they have a case on their phone? Because that's the second big reason that could be inhibiting the tap from working. And I have a case on my phone here. It's a clear case and it's pretty thin. And my card will work not all of the time with my case on. And in fact, I know Danon, when he was out at that event, man, he had that OtterBox protect it from falling from the top of the building type case. And it clearly wasn't going to get through that, right, Danon? So you popped out your phone, boop, worked right away. So that would be the second thing. First, and if you joined us on that Tuesday with Kathy, I want to bring that in. Kathy talked about going in with that plan so that if it doesn't work, you already have the alternative options set up so that you can still move forward in your process, and that one hurdle that presented itself, like I can't tap right now, becomes an opportunity to say, oh, no worries, scan this QR code. Or, oh, no worries, you're on iPhone, let me airdrop it to you. Or, oh, no worries, put in your email address and I'll just send it over to you. Again, there's always a way to go over, around, under, or even through if you put the preparation in place. So that's the second question I would ask, Anna, is like, did they have a case on their phone? And then it's like, how many of these steps do you want to go through just to make the NFC experience is the next big question, but that could have been a contributor. And then to your point, who knows how the Wi-Fi might be working in their place, although it's device to hardware. So their Wi-Fi network and any restrictions they may have in place probably wouldn't affect it, but I love the thinking. Maybe that was a cause, and maybe it could be. Again, I don't know, with some technologies, VPNs, all of these other things. But I would
with the training that you guys have given me, I was able to, get the information to her anyway. So
awesome.
Exactly.
I think that's the big point. Kudos on getting the information out. We'll do some more testing on the NFC. Obviously, the technology is not perfect. You know what I mean? Right. The hardware is there. We try to use the highest quality hardware, and it will work some of the time, but maybe not all of the time. If it doesn't work, step one for everybody, turn on their NFC. If you don't know that process to help them turn on their NFC, it's like the settings or control panel, do a search for NFC, slide the toggle, try to tap again. Usually if I get to that point, Anna, and it doesn't tap again, I'll try an alternative channel, but it's always good to keep in the back of the mind. Like if I'm really wanting to create the experience of the tap, I might say, hey, do you mind removing your phone case real quick? I really want to show you this, and go from there. Exactly. I don't know much more if it's on and not receiving,
To add to this, just think about, all the different ways, and I know Kathy trains on it, and yes, it's an experience to tap it, but if we can't get past that, what's the other sharing methods that can be utilized within Shuffle? It's through the text, it's through email, it's through pulling up a QR, have them scan. There will be a day where I can tap this, and if they can't tap, they can scan it and it will work and go to the correct location. So that day is being worked towards. But, another reason why it might not work, we experienced it the other day. You had your do not disturb on your phone and it did not work. It would not come through because do not disturb restricted that aspect. Think about, you mentioned technology and it's not perfect. It's just better. I saw a thing today from the newest iOS build that if you go into your settings and you go to Safari and you go to, I'm going to pull it up right now.
While you're pulling that up, Guy, I noticed in that after we had done that presentation, that iPhone, when you share your phone screen on a Zoom like this, by default, it will automatically turn off any of your notifications so they don't come up while you're sharing your phone screen. Well, that's great. That's great, except for when you're trying to show people notifications. So you should have seen me and Guy's sitting there and I'm just like, well, it usually works. I mean, I'm tapping it, here I am, one of the developers of this technology, and I didn't even know that feature existed when you screen share on Zoom. And all I had to do was go in and it was like on screen share, turn off notifications. I just toggled it off, and now I can have my notifications on when I share my screen.
So here's what I found, and I found it out today while
so much
just
better now,
just getting information over to me, is on the new iOS build, you go to your settings, go to Safari, and go down to hide IP address.
Yeah.
Because if you have it on, that's where you are getting tracked by everyone and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So people talk about getting identity theft, getting those different types of things. Well, it comes now turned on.
Yeah.
Automatically turned on. You can just turn that off and you'll be a little more secure. That's just an element within technology that it's better. Sometimes it's not perfect. Not a fan of that one. So I would suggest turning that one off.
Yep. Any other comments, questions, thoughts to add, celebrations? We want to do some Q&A here. So if anybody has anything, I do have one other chart up here. So if there isn't those questions, I'm going to drop a little bit more info on you guys. Maybe you've seen some of this stuff before, but first I want to field anything that might be out there. Anybody? Anybody? I know you guys like math and charts. Come on. It's not as fun as it looks, but I think the concepts here are really powerful. Over time, if you join us for a longer period of time, you get more exposed to Guy and I. You'll come to realize I am the type analytical person, right? I feed off of data. Give me more, and I like to look at it all, look at the pattern, and operate within statistics. I think I mentioned on Thursday, if you joined us or if you've watched that replay for this first week, I talked about game theory, right? And basic strategy and card counting as a way to put the edge from the house into you so that over time you win. And I think that's a direct representation of what Guy was talking about with setting those habits and then operating those habits consistently over time. The one thing I want to contribute to that earlier conversation is commit to a duration of time and be realistic with the expectations over that duration of time, given that valley of despair we were talking about. Brittany, I know you do a lot of the functional movement stuff, right? If you had a client come to you and say, oh, I've got this pain or this ache or this whatever, and you say, I can help you, you just have to follow my process and it will result in improvement in your functional movement. And they say, okay, and you give them the moves to do, the stretches, all of that type of stuff, and they do it one day and don't achieve the results, or they do it 3 days and they don't achieve the results, and they come back to you and say, it didn't work for me. You're like, no, this happens in accumulation over time. If you adopt doing this stretch every day and do it for a year, I guarantee you at the end of this year, you're going to be better than you were at the start. You'll probably be way more flexible, but you're not going to be flexible within a week. That's like me saying, I want to learn how to do the splits and I want to do it tomorrow. Not going to work. Is it achievable? Yeah, probably over time. I'm questioning whether that was a good goal to start in the first place for me, but again, choose a duration and commit to that. One thing that I always like to say to people is we planned out our whole year, but commit to at least 90 days on any habit. In Atomic Habits, what you'll hear about is it's not one of those things where we all hear, oh, it takes 21 days to make a habit or 30 days to make a habit or 90 days to make a habit. The statistic and reality of it is how many reps have you put in? If you're only doing it once a week, trust me, you're going to have to put in a lot more than 21 days in order for that thing to put in or be a habit. But if this is a habit that you're doing 10 times a day for the next month and you've done it 300 times, you're going to have more likelihood that you've adopted that habit. So think about the frequency and give yourself enough time to start developing that habit. And this brings me to this one chart. We've talked about it before with Pareto's principle, right? The 80-20 rule. And this is things like 80% of the people in your industry, don't achieve what 20% of the people in the industry do, or 80% of the results are coming from 20% of the people in your industry. For some industries out there, you might look at income disclosure statement and realize that 2% of the people are getting, 99% of the results. Again, this is sort of falling into that Pareto principle, but I want to overlay that with habits because here's the reality. I read a book, I don't know if it was Malcolm Gladwell or one of the other ones, but it was talking about 10,000 hours. And if you want to be a master at anything, it takes on average 10,000 hours, right? Look at anybody who's at the top of their profession, the top of the sport, all of whatever we might be using as the example. And to get to the top in percentage of aptitude, right? Like let's say getting up here is 100%. You are the expert in your field, okay? And getting down here is you're at ground zero. I don't know anything about this. Maybe you set a goal for your personal wheel of life to become a pilot this year, and you've never even sat in the cockpit of a plane. You know what I mean? You've got a lot of work to do to become a professional pilot if that's what your goal is, okay? But the reality of the 80-20 rule and the 10,000 hour rule is actually you will make 80% of your progress in the first 20% of your time. And this is the parabolic curve that happens. Here is 20% of your time, and here is 80% of the time. And this will all make sense in a second here. And this is 0% to 100%. And here's our line here. And let's talk about where this starts out. We start moving along. Here's that valley of despair. It's just really small on the graph. Once we stick to it, we see that that parabolic function starts to take place, right? That graph we were looking at earlier is like just this little piece down here where this was that one goal. I want to be able to do this or achieve this. Then you surpass that goal, and in about 20% of your time, you're going to make 80% of the progress to mastery. And then when we talk about that 10,000 hour rule, really that's closing the gap of the remaining 20%. Think about it in the course of weight loss. If you've ever gone through the valley of despair and then finally you had momentum and making progress towards your weight loss, you're like, wow, I'm really getting there. And then you get almost to your goal and it starts to plateau or slow down or feel like it takes forever. The same holds true here. You end up spending the remaining 80% of your time closing that last 20% gap. It's sort of like a curve, an S curve like this in mathematics. Now, the benefit of knowing this is you don't have to focus on getting to 100%, because trust me, getting to even 80% is great in forward progress when you're starting at zero. And if you can do that in the first 20% of the time, then commit some portion of time, at least enough to make you feel comfortable that you're getting out of that valley of despair. If you can do that and start to get the parabolic uptick, you know that when you finish up that 20% of time, you'll be about 80% of the way towards that initial goal. And then that's when you want to move the goal further out, or you've adopted the habits that you're just saying, my goal is to stick with keeping these habits, or incrementally, to Guy's point, 1% improving these habits so that I fly past this. And if you're truly passionate about becoming the top, focus on the 10,000 hours. You know, again, how many reps are you going to make in that amount of time? That's about 10 years worth of time on a 40-hour work week, guys. So to put it into mathematical perspective here for the analyticals out there. But I think that that's so powerful, because where I like to operate, and I'm one of those people who loves to learn, and I love to be like a jack of all trades. Well, I know I don't have to commit 10,000 hours to anything. If I want to learn how to play the guitar, if I can just get 20% of the way on those 10,000 hours, maybe it's 2,000 hours, I'm going to be 80% of the way there. Maybe I'm playing all of my favorite songs by ear, but I'm not up on stage singing like Jack Johnson. You know what I mean?
Right. We got to get you some darker markers, buddy.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I can see it. I hope you guys can see it. I got this glare here too. So,
you know, to sort of, I guess, wrap this up to this point, so we can go through the affiliate overview, which I think a lot of you will be excited to see what ER is going to do today with the affiliate overview. Kathy, we talked about it, and I put that bug in his ear. We'll see how that goes today. But you remember? You got to remember what we talked about. It was
the short part or the long part?
The short part. The short part. But as an affiliate, a habit, and we can either put out there on chat, someone can raise their hand, but what is one thing as an affiliate I can do today that can be repeated tomorrow, that can become a habit that I implement every day to get me in the trajectory that I want in business? What is one thing, Kathy, I'm going to sort of put it on you. What is one thing that you do today, tomorrow, throughout the week, through Shuffle as an affiliate, that you can turn into a habit?
Or that is a habit.
That is a habit. Yeah.
That is a habit.
Really, it's just reaching out and seeing if anybody needs anything. I think this is the perfect time of year to go through anybody who's in your affiliates and make sure, do they have any questions? Do they know about these calls? Britt was just asking me, like, what's the calendar again? How do I know when the calls are? I love the concept for this year of doing the 5-hour work week. We have 1 hour a week or 1 hour a day, every day of the week, to come on here, and maybe you're going to learn specifically about Shuffle. Maybe you're just coming on here for an hour of positive messaging. Maybe you're just coming on here to get your mindset to do some work. So I think right now, the best thing you can do is get on and connect with your affiliates. Maybe it's somebody you haven't talked to for a while, and this is the perfect time to go like, hey, it's the beginning of the year, and this is when I connect with all my affiliates. They don't know any different, right? They don't know that this is a new thing that you just decided today that you wanted to do. So great time just to reach out and see how you could help them. And maybe it's simply just inviting them to these calls.
Right. Perfect. Mike.
Mike, go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year.
Hey, okay. One thing you can do, and this is for everybody, is share the card. Stop holding on to it. Share it with everybody. Just share the card.
Love it.
That's the thing I see that's happening out there. People not sharing it. Now,
Yeah.
Anna, I ran into that same issue with the card. I was doing it on New Year's Eve, trying to share the card, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's not working. It's not working. So I had to go back to my phone. And y'all know I love my phone. I'm starting to love this. But I had to alter it. So what I did is I added the QR code to the back of the card.
Uh-huh.
So now when it didn't work, I just say, here, scan that. And I have the card in my hand, bringing them forward with the card, because that's what brings them forward, that card. Your phone, they're like, I'm going to do this. They go to grab it. And I said, no, scan that.
Yep. I love that, Mike. And if you were listening to what Guy said earlier, he sort of dropped a hint to exactly what Mike just showed. We're going to save everybody the effort of going and printing out a QR code for whatever card you've written to your tap card. And we're going to allow you to go in, and when you go to write that now in the future, Mike, and it's scoped into the next sprint on the development cycle. So I'll get the date of when this is estimated to arrive. When you go to write your card, at that point, when it's telling you success, you've written your card, it's going to ask you, do you also want to rewrite the QR code? And that will allow you to make sure your card, NFC and QR that's printed on there physically, are in sync with each other. So it's going to be your choice whether you want to make it in sync with it or whether you want it to remain going back to the directions or by tap. I would recommend, to Mike's point, make it match what you have the card written to. There's so much magic that happens when you create the experience for the people that you're meeting that's going to start to allow them to ask you questions. You have to realize every time you create a positive experience for the person you're in front of, it actually elevates your position and view in their eyes. So creating that experience is super powerful. I really like the workaround for that, Mike. I appreciate it. And anybody who wants to implement that between now and the time we get that feature released, I'd recommend following Mike's guidance and doing that. And then once we get it in sync, you can choose to peel off the sticker, because then it will always be in sync with whatever card you're putting on. So you'll never have to print another QR to paste or exchange out if you end up using several different shuffle cards on your tap card.
One thing I want to point out to that, Mike, you said share your card. And I think that's the biggest, most valuable thing from an affiliate, from a user, from just a business owner, marketer, whatever that is. And Anna, you're showing physical cards. have the ability to have digital cards, getting those shared out. The first thing that I would look at is that, have you taken the time to build a card that you feel comfortable in sharing? Because there are so many people. Look at your affiliates. Potentially, if you're one of those that had hundreds and maybe now you have tens, that what their cards look like when they exited. Because there is a really good chance that they have a picture and their phone number and email, and that's it. And who would want to click on something like that? So one thing we are going to do, actually, I'm going to take it on, is we're going to have this AMP process we talked about last year, attitude moment process. And we're going to sit down and I'm going to block out time throughout the week that people can sort of come into my card, set a time, and we're just going to go through and build your card to be where it's just share. It's so simple at that point because I love my card. I love what we have developed here. Maybe it's not even a personal card. It's a product card. It's something of that sort. Setting down and going into the desktop builder and grabbing template 18 and manipulating that in a way that it's something that I'm happy with sharing. I sat down with a couple people this week and looked at their cards, and they have been users on the application since almost day one, and redeveloped it into something that is more eye-catching, pleasable to them to share. And they've already taken that card and have gotten multiple signups based on the card that they feel more comfortable to share. Instead of that photo, the phone number, email, location, that's it. So make sure, to Mike's point, share your card. Make sure you have a card that's worth sharing.
I love that, Guy. I mean, again, I think about anything that I personally like, and it's so much easier to share things that I like. So ask yourself, do you like the card you've created on Shuffle? And if your answer is no, then it is your responsibility to join us on Tuesdays with Kathy so that you can learn the skills to make and build a card that you love. And then to Mike's point, that sharing process becomes so easy when you want to tell everybody about that thing that you love. Hey, let me show you this. Check this thing out. I cannot wait to pull out your phone. I got to show, I want your feedback. Check that, you can have one of these, but I'm pumped about the one that I have. That's why I can't stop sharing it. I think my one thing, guys, as well to add, and this is something I want to focus on in 2022, it's a big thing to pour into other people. There are a lot of people who are, the great resignation is going on, as they call it. They're starting new things. They're updating or resetting or pivoting their lives, and they're in need of a business card, a landing page, etc. You have the opportunity to provide links for free cards. If you made a goal or created a habit, a habit to just offer to somebody who could benefit from a business card, the free card, once a day. Maybe a big list. Go for it. Do more than the minimum amount of flair. You know what I mean? Go out there, but at a minimum, if you did one a day, think about this over time. And that's that habit stacking thing, Guy, or the compounding effect of the habits. If I wanted to add 365 people to my affiliate network as direct referrals, and we're going to talk about the power behind that when we go through the affiliate program here in about a second. If I gave away one card a day, and how long would it take you to go online, find somebody who has good information and say, hey, I would love you to put that information on a free business card? To Anna's point, she could almost pick up every paper card that she's had and say, hey, so-and-so, I met you somewhere. They don't know where they gave you their card at. I want to follow up with you because I think you deserve an updated card. Maybe you're going to build them a promo card. Again, doesn't matter how much time you want to pour into it. The fact is, get the habit done. If you gave away one free card a day, at the end of this year, how many cards would you have given away? 365. Every single one of those, even though you're not earning a commission off of that, is 365 direct referrals. Here's the reality. Of those 365 people, not all of them are going to become a paid person. But what happens if 10%, not even 50%, not even 80%, 10% of those people do it? This is the numbers game, guys. This is how this whole process works, right? That's the magical science of it. 365 people, 10% conversion, that's 36 people. We're going to go through the program right here. You're going to hear a number called Focus on 40. You'd already be there by the end of the year. You'd be 4 people shy. And in fact, I have a feeling that if you got into the habit of doing it once a day, like giving out a free card a day, pretty soon you'd probably be able to do 2 a day or 3 a day or 4 a day. Shoot, there might be a time where you post into a business Facebook group, with business development or job seekers, and you do a post in there that says, hey, everybody, if you want to put a link to your resume on a digital business card that you can give to the HR person, dropping out ideas here, guys, you know what I mean? You could go out and do that, and that group might have more than one person sign up for a free card that day. In fact, that post in that group might generate 10, 20, 30, 50 free cards. Again, at some point, they're going to get wrapped up into the community. They're going to get and play with the application, and they're going to say there's other features, and they're inevitably going to say, well, I want to know who's viewing my card. I want some push notifications and tracking. I want to know where I'm posting my card that it's working. Oh, well, for $10, $20, $30 a month, you can start adding in some of these features that are going to benefit you. And lo and behold, the 365 people that you referred in 2022 turn into so many people and so many people. Now, guys, we only have a little bit of time left, and we're at the top of the hour.
You got 2 minutes. So this was the challenge. Affiliate assets. We're working on getting everything out there. We're getting the videos scripted right now to redirect the affiliate video. There's going to be a few of them. This is ER's challenge right here. This is your 2-minute video. This is your sizzle reel. What is the affiliate program of Elify? The affiliate program.
And look, guys, this is going to be our short version that we all can share and tell everybody. I actually planned this, guys. I made it so that I had to perform in 2 minutes. If I would have had 5 minutes, I would have taken 5 minutes, right? If I would have had 10 minutes, it would have taken me 10 minutes. We always find that we can fill the time. Guys, we're going to fill the next 2 minutes with an overview of the affiliate program, okay? I'm going to share my screen with you guys real quick, and we're going to walk through this. Are you guys there? Can you hear me? Okay.
You got
my
a minute.
screen froze for a second, so I'm maybe at a minute left. So we're going to get this thing done. Is it sharing now? Getting a little freezy on the bandwidth here. Okay. Guys, here's the short and sweet overview of our affiliate program. If you can't learn and understand this and be able to implement it or share it with others, reach out to us because we will help you drive it home. But in 2 minutes, here's the reality. Elify has created an amazing affiliate program. I believe it's second to none. I've had affiliates on our system call this the ultimate side hustle. Here is why. Affiliate marketing allows you guys to share out links. And when somebody comes in through your link and purchases a product, you get paid for it. That's called the direct referral, okay? In our program, you're going to get paid on everybody who comes in and signs up through your link. In addition to that, you're going to get paid if that person goes out and makes a referral. We call that the network referral. So if you're looking for a program that's going to compensate you for the people you directly refer and the people that other people refer, this is the place that you want to check out. You're going to want to come over to the affiliate page right here. And you're going to want to go through all of this information. At a high level, joining as an affiliate in affiliate marketing is simple. You become an affiliate, you start promoting the links and shuffle and the technology, the affiliate program, etc. And as people sign up, you start to earn. Again, you'll earn on all the people you directly refer, in addition to your network referrals or other people's referrals. It's all charted out on this page in this graph, and we've even included a commission calculator. So if you want to calculate what you could earn, the potential earnings, you can come to this page and check it out. So guys, that's a 2-minute overview of the affiliate program. If you're looking for something short and sweet to tell other people about Elify and the affiliate program, it is as simple as saying, would you like to start a career in affiliate marketing where you can increase your finances? Those are those two spokes, right? Would you like to get paid on the people you directly referred and get paid on the people that other people refer? You need to join this phone call. You need to come to this event. You need to check this out, and you can learn a ton more. So take with that, guys, as we go into the weekend, will, skill, and refill. We'll be back on again for week 2 of the 5-hour work week we're running in 2022. We're going to go through sprint planning. You got to have a plan if you're going to go somewhere. And then we'll talk about the preparation to put that plan into action. That's going to be your skills and tools that you need to know. Join us on Tuesday for the trainings with Kathy, Wednesday for Mindset of a Champion, Thursday for our roundtable discussion, and again, back here next week on Friday to win the week again. So I hope you guys won your week. I know that I won mine, and I still got a day left. So I'm going to make this one count, and I hope you make it count too, guys. Thank you so much for the time, everybody. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you guys on the next call. Take care, everybody.